A tale of two seasons. Saints facing the Packers. This was a battle. Third quarter. Breeze deep ball to Joe Morgan. 80-yard score. 24-21 Saints. 446 passing yards. 3 TDs for Breeze. It's his 47th straight game with the passing TD, tied for most all time with Johnny Unitas. In the fourth, the Pack attacks. Aaron Rodgers bullet to Jordy Nelson. Green Bay pulls ahead 28-27. The Saints had a chance to retake the lead. Garrett Hartley drills the 43-yarder. Saints go on top, but wait just a minute. Saints call for holding, so Hartley's second attempt from 48 yards wide left. Saints drop a heartbreaker 28-27. They are now 0-4.
We sustain things well, and you know, statistically, when you look at it, you should say it's a win. But unfortunately, you know, we didn't do quite enough.
Staying in the NFC, Cam Newton and the Panthers looking to hand the Falcons their first loss of the year. Fourth quarter, Newton hits Kealoha Polaris on the screen. 36-yard touchdown, 215 passing yards, career high 86 on the ground for Newton. 28-24 Panthers. 1 minute to play. Falcons on their own 1-yard line. Matt Ryan unloads. He's got Roddy White. 59-yard gain. Ryan drove the Falcons down the field. Matt Bryant comes on for the 40-yarder, and it's true. The Falcons improved to 4-0, 30-28 the final. No surprise, Alabama remains #1 in the AP poll following their win over Ole Miss. The Tide received all 60 first-place votes. UA is off next Saturday. The Jags are off next week as well, and they have a quarterback problem to work out. C.J. Bennett and Ross Matheny have been splitting time at the position. The two QBs combined for 59 passing yards in Saturday's loss.
Bottom line, I hadn't thought at this time that anybody really separated themselves. That's why we kept doing it. Something we got to really look at, and next week and a half, and you know, well, next 2 weeks. Got an off week next week, and we just got to make some decisions.
The U.S. took a comfortable 10-6 lead going into the final day of the Ryder Cup. That's comparable to a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter of a football game. Tough to lose, but it's possible. Europe won the first 5 matches on great shots like this from Rory McIlroy. Then on the 18th hole, Martin Keimer puts in the par putt to clinch it, beating Steve Stricker 1-up. Europe matches the biggest comeback of all time, beating the U.S. 14.5 to 13.5. On the track, race number 3 in the chase for the Cup, Brad Keselowski had just enough fuel to take the checker flag. It's his second win in 3 chase races. Keselowski now leads the points standings. Jimmy Johnson was 4th in the race. He's 2nd in the points. Switching to baseball, Chipper Jones playing his final regular season game at Turner Field. He got a standing ovation from the crowd. It was only fitting. Jones made several spectacular plays with his glove. Watch him barehand this one and throw out the guy at first base. David Ross belted a 3-run jack in the second inning to get Atlanta on the board. The Braves knock off the Mets 6-2. We close things out with our Sunday segment, Sunday Snapshot, where we take a look at a sports pick that has the Twitterverse buzzing. Things downright awful in Fayetteville, and Arkansas fans just want the Hogs to beat somebody. Please, go Hogs, just beat somebody. Next week, Arkansas heads to the Plains to battle Auburn, both squads winless in the SEC West. And folks, this is your chance to get your sports picks on the air, whether it's from Friday Night Football, Pee Wee football, Saturday, whatever. It's a funny sports pick. Tweet it to me, get your name on the air, and follow me as well, C. Townsend 15 Sports. But that's how it is in Fayetteville. We just want you to beat anybody. Please, they had so much potential, a top 10 team, and they only have 1 win so far.
I feel bad for the fans. You know that's tough.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks so much, Clement. And we only have to deal with the rain for 1 more day, huh?
That's right. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for Washington County around Chatham. That goes until midnight. Otherwise, tornado watch through 2 a.m. Better weather this week.
All right, thanks so much for watching. Local 15 Law Call is coming your way next.
Hi, this is Shelby Mitchell for Mullinax Ford. Nobody has more F-Series pickups than Mullinax. And now just $19,900 buys a 2012 F-150. Upfront pricing, no dealer fees, huge selection. That's Mullinax in West Mobile on Airport Boulevard.
Surprise! Checkers, famous seasoned fries on a burger. Cha-ching! Checkers, new fry lovers burger. It's a whole new way to do bold. Or try our smokin' sausage or checker burger. $1 each. Checkers, feast on.
The vast majority of the time, if an injury case is at trial, it's because an insurance company would not give a victim a fair shake. Now, ironically, as a plaintiff's lawyer, I'm not allowed to let a jury know that the defendant has insurance. So that means a plaintiff that doesn't want to have to be there has to be there. A defendant who doesn't want to have to be there has to be there. And a whole jury is inconvenienced, all because an insurance company didn't want to do the right thing. And I'm not even allowed to let them know that. My name is David J. Maloney, and I'll personally return your call.
Good morning!
Wow.
You want to start the day with something heart-healthy and delicious?
You're a talking bee.
Honey Nut Cheerios has whole grain oats that can help lower cholesterol.
And it tastes good?
Sure does.
Right. Wow.
Delicious, right?
Yeah.
It's the honey. It makes it taste so... Well, would you look at the time?
What's the rush?
Be happy, be healthy. Who are you gonna call? Good old Treadwell!
Redesigned 2013 Accords have arrived. Come see our huge selection or visit us online at treadwellhonda.com.
Here along the Gulf Coast, we do, hey y'all, family is important, and keeping them safe's a top priority. We're a little bit country, jazzy, even a little bit rock and roll. We live by the sea and by the bay. We do sweet tea and football, and it's where we call home.
Families in crisis.
She's 18 years old. She has the judgment of a turtle.
Relationships in trouble.
With this one, you're going to have to watch the gold in your teeth.
In Judge Judy's court, they're not just cases, they're topics that affect your life.
See all the trouble you created by getting crazy?
The cases get you thinking.
You think this is going to be easy? This is not going to be easy.
The topics get you talking.
You better stop harassing each other. You have a child.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 4, followed by Local 15 News.
Hi, this is Shelby Mitchell from Mullinax Ford. Nobody has more F-Series pickups than Mullinax. And now get 0% financing on all F-Series. Upfront pricing, no dealer fees, huge selection. That's Mullinax, West Mobile, Airport Boulevard.
This is Local 15, Law Call.
And welcome in, everybody. This is Local 15 Law Call, where each week we discuss a different legal topic. Then we take your legal questions live on the air. And tonight we are talking about bankruptcy. The phone lines are open. If you have a question on this subject, give us a call. 877-622-1548. Now, before we go any further, we want to show you what's on the docket for the next couple of weeks. Next week, it will be medical malpractice. On the 14th of October, it is all about injuries. Then on the 21st, it is landlords and tenants. On the panel, as he is each and every Sunday night, from the law firm of Island and Ritchie, Mobile attorney Bill Island. Bill, bankruptcy coming, especially the way the economy has been the last 4 or 5 years, a big subject.
Huge subject. In fact, this is probably the area of law, there's been kind of a joke amongst lawyers, when the economy, goes in the tank, it also affects lawyers,
Sure.
and especially like real estate lawyers or transaction lawyers, and just kind of the joke with a lot of lawyers is, this is the time to be a bankruptcy lawyer because there's so many bankruptcies that's going on. Now, we say that tongue in cheek, but it truly is. This is probably one of the busiest times that bankruptcy lawyers and bankruptcy courts have ever seen. And so if you are facing financial difficulty, whether it be your personally or whether it be your business or both, you need to know what your rights are. You need to know whether you need to have a complete resolution to your debt problems or a consolation or consolidate everything. And so you need to know what your options are and what the ramifications of filing for bankruptcy as far as credit, being able to purchase a home later down the road, and all of that. And with us tonight, Jamie Loris. Jamie is an expert when it comes to bankruptcy. This is all he does. and so we're extremely happy to have him.
Jamie, and welcome back to the show. By the
Appreciate
way, you know, we were talking before the program that people think, oh, well, someone went into bankruptcy with, what are they, gambling, or they're just running up credit card debt. Not the case, especially with the housing bubble.
That's right.
That really forced a lot of people into bankruptcy when their house then got so far underwater, you know, unable to make payments.
Couldn't do a
And so
modification.
there are a lot of reasons why someone winds up in bankruptcy.
It's true. I mean, it's just like, you know, with the modifications, there's all the mortgage companies are trying to get people to you know, drop their interest rates and drop their monthly payments, and they're not being really successful about it. So it's just not really you know, being real, you know, helping a lot of people right now.
And there are, you know, a number, obviously you've probably heard of Chapter 7, you've heard of Chapter 11, Chapter 13. Why don't we go over a few of those right now before we get started with the calls. For example, if you're an individual, what are your options?
If you're an individual, you can file 7. Chapter 13, you know, Chapter 7 is you know, straight bankruptcy. Chapter 13 is debt consolidation. There's certain limits as far as, you know, your debt. And some of those you have to, you know, when your debt limit is too high, you have to do a Chapter 11. Yeah. So, but you know, 7 or 13, and here in Alabama, I guess about 80–90% of our cases are 13s.
Are Chapter 13, which means people are trying to repay.
Hold on to the house, hold on to the car.
Exactly, where 7, they're just walking away.
Exactly.
Well, we've got our first caller of the night. Carlton's in Milton, Florida. Carlton, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Carlton.
Yes, my question is, if I had a car that was repoed, and I want to know if I could file bankruptcy and clear my credit up.
Carlton, you can. You know, you can. You know, if that deficiency is enough, you can file a Chapter 7 and wipe it out. You know, Chapter 7 is about a 90-day process. We're in and out about 90 days. So that's, you know, a lot of times on those repos, the debt's not really enough to do a Chapter 7. A lot of times we want, you know, $15,000 or $20,000 to do that, and if that's not enough. But yeah, sure, absolutely, you can do that.
When you say $15,000, $20,000, you talking about as far as the person being in debt?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it's just, you know, you get to file Chapter 7 every 8 years. You know, and to make it worth a while, you want to make sure it's, you know, you have enough debt to you know, swing that bat.
And when earlier when you talked about where I guess Chapter 7 is where it just wipes everything out.
It's a fresh start. That's walking away.
You know, when you said walk away from, because you don't want to keep your house, I mean, will you lose your house in Chapter 7?
Not necessarily. You know, in Alabama are exemptions. For your homestead, you get $5,000 per person. And as far as your personal property, you get $3,000 per person. So if you have, you know, any equity above that, you have to go Chapter 13. If it's below that, and a lot of times on these houses, we are below that. You can still, you know, file Chapter 7, reaffirm the house, and keep making your payments.
Okay.
All right, back to the phone lines. Bob's in Mobile. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Jamie. Hey, my question is how often can you file bankruptcy? Is it every 7 years? And also, is there a new law that prohibits you from filing bankruptcy in certain areas? I'll give you a quick example. Back in the 80s, all these doctors and lawyers were filing the bankruptcy with $200,000 in student loans before the U.S. government changed their policy, and they had that debt wiped off. I think that was before 1987 or 1989.
Wow.
Well, first of all, you said it was 8 years.
Yeah, for a Chapter 7, you can file a Chapter 13 and you know, get out of one and refile another one pretty quickly. It happens. There's limits as far as your time to get a discharge and stuff. I mean, so we have to look at that. As far as, you know, discharging the student loans, it's really, really tough right now to do that. Yeah, it's almost impossible.
Is he correct? Back in the 80s, you could do that?
Probably was. You know, there's been a lot of case law. You know, the bankruptcy rules changed in 2005 of October, and it's really tightened things up, kind of forced more people to Chapter 13. But student loans, I mean, it's really tough to get rid of those.
You're absolutely right about that. I'm still trying to get rid of mine.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you quickly, and the question I would have, yes, I could walk away from everything if I filed Chapter 7. What does that then do to my credit, and then how does that affect me going forward?
You know, bankruptcy is going to be on there. You know, Chapter 7 will be on your credit report for up to 10 years. Chapter 13 can be up there for up to 7 years. So, I mean, it's going to be sitting there. You know, with Chapter 7, you're in and out in 90 days, so you're pretty open to start building your credit up, you know, buying a car, buying a house usually after a couple of years, and that's when you have to really start, you know, maybe get a secured credit card and and start building your credit.
But it's not the end of the world.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's just, I mean, I think right now in Baldwin County, I mean, it's just, our numbers over there are just, you know, there's 1 in 2 out of every 10 families are filing bankruptcy over there.
Wow. What was that number again?
Yeah, 10 or 20% of the people in Baldwin County are filing bankruptcy right now.
That
it's
is
just really,
unbelievable.
it's really busy over there right now.
Well, we have a caller from Baldwin County. Quentin's in Loxley. Go ahead, Quentin.
Hey, Quentin.
Hi, I just got a couple of questions. If you could explain for your audience the difference between individual bankruptcy and the remedies to correct that, and city and state bankruptcies. We've had a lot of, like I think 3 cities in California that go bankrupt, and we've had Pritchard go bankrupt 3 times, if my understanding is correctly. What does it mean for individuals that go bankrupt, and the corrective action to that that's different to cities like Pritchard going bankrupt 3 times, and how can they remedy this instead of, I know that individuals can kind of make sure that they don't spend more than what they have, but we look at Mobile wanting to tax more people and want to keep spending and not cutting taxing instead of cutting spending. How do we remedy these problems?
All right, and like Stockton, California, I do know, I grew up near that area, declared. What they are doing is reorganizing.
Right, Chapter 11. That's what, and I think that's what Pritchard did too. They're, you know, and that's what the bankruptcy judge is for. I mean, it's you know, he's there to make sure the creditors are getting as much money and everything's looked after. So it's you know, and that's what's going to happen with Pritchard. I mean, you know.
I guess I could see Quentin's frustration that a city can continue to file bankruptcy. But you even mentioned individuals can do the same. That is a law. We're not saying, hey, that's the thing to do in every case, but it is an option out there.
Sure, absolutely.
Right. All right, well, we're talking about bankruptcy, obviously, here on Local 15 Law Call. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of your calls after this.
Has your homeowner insurance gone up? Has your wind coverage been dropped? Help is here. Best Rate Insurance, a locally owned and operated full-service insurance agency, will do the legwork for you to find the best rates possible shopping different companies so you don't have to. Best rate, best service. 3 locations, 1 phone number. Call, click, or come by today. Like Local 15 News on Facebook and enter to win tickets to Bayfest October 5th through the 7th. Accurate and reliable weather forecasts. This seal of approval sets the standard of who you should trust. Local 15, the weather authority, is certified as the Gulf Coast's most accurate forecast by the nation's only independent research firm, Weather Rate. Local 15, the weather authority, the Gulf Coast's most accurate forecast every night.
I'm Donald Friedlander. For over 44 years, I've been putting people into Chapter 13 and Chapter 7 bankruptcies. Is your lawyer giving you a $250 cash rebate on their Chapter 13 attorney's fee? I am.
I had a real Leave It to Beaver childhood. We lived in a modest house and we didn't take fancy vacations. I cannot imagine having a better childhood. My parents gave me the confidence to take risks and to try new things. They were always there to catch me when I fell. I think in some ways my mom gave me my spirit, but my dad gave me my soul.
Weekdays at 2, followed by Dr. Oz. Welcome back to Local 15 Law Call with host and award-winning broadcaster Lance Crawford, plus guidance from the Alabama personal injury law firm of Island & Ritchie. Island & Ritchie, with millions of dollars awarded to its clients. Attorneys Bill Island and Alan Ritchie were born and raised in Mobile, and since starting their law practice have helped thousands of people across Mobile, Baldwin County, and the entire Gulf Coast. Now, your rights, your calls, live. Local 15 Law Call.
And welcome back, everyone. Well, you know, lawyers sometimes take flack for the amount of money they receive after a successful verdict, but, you know, a lot of people don't fully understand the system. Personal injury attorney Alan Ritchie explains contingency fees in tonight's legal brief.
Under a contingency fee arrangement, a lawyer agrees to take a case without any money up front. In return, the lawyer is entitled to a percentage of the amount of money collected if the case is successful, usually about 1/3 to 40%. Lawyers who take cases on a contingency fee take a big risk. These attorneys must front the cost of litigation themselves. Sometimes this can amount to thousands or even millions of dollars. If the case is lost, the lawyer's paid nothing. That's right, nothing. The contingency fee system ensures that injured people who couldn't otherwise afford a lawyer are able to have their day in court. It's a system that allows blue-collar, injured people to hire attorneys to take on the richest and most powerful corporations in the country. Eliminating the contingency fee would effectively strip the keys to the courthouse from the average citizen. That's your legal brief for tonight. I'm personal injury attorney Alan Ritchie. Back to you.
All right, tonight's subject is bankruptcy. Give us a call, 877-622-1548. We're here with Jamie Loris, Bill Island, and let's go straight to the phones. Nikki is in Mobile. Nikki, you're up. Go ahead.
Hey, Nikki.
Do we have Nikki? All right, we don't have Nikki, but we've got Brett in Pensacola. Brett, you're up.
Hey, Brett.
Yes, my name is Brett, and got a question. I went through bankruptcy last year. I can't remember if you can tell me if it's Chapter 13 or 7 where all my debts were paid off.
7.
7, yeah.
Okay, 7. After that, I got a job, and I got recently laid off, and I had secured credit cards. And I'm having trouble finding a job here in Pensacola. If I can't find a job soon, is there any way I can do the other type of bankruptcy?
And to back up, when you said paid off, so you completed the Chapter 13 in 3 to 5 years, or it was a quick process in and out 90 days?
Okay.
I mean, which one was it, Brett?
It was the one. It was the quick one. I mean, it was 3 months, and it was done. I went to the guy at the federal courthouse, and it was all taken care of.
Mm-hmm. That's Chapter 7. So if you get behind again, you could always file another Chapter 13. Another Chapter 7, you have to wait 8 years to do that.
But he can do Chapter 13
Absolutely,
now?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. That actually kind of plays off Nikki, who we did not get on the line there, but we do know her question. I guess she and her husband were going through Chapter 13 proceedings at the moment. She was wondering if she could then change that to a Chapter 7.
She could, and I think her other question was, could she also, pull other debts out and keep those in the Chapter 7? You can. You have a little bit more options to reaffirm those debts in the Chapter 7 than you could with the Chapter 13.
The moral of the story is you can see how complicated this is, and whenever you are contemplating filing for bankruptcy or any kind of, we see these commercials all the time about debt consolidation companies, and where you call in and they try to negotiate with credit companies and this and that. My advice would be go see a bankruptcy lawyer, not just any lawyer, but go see somebody who specializes in this, because this is a very, very highly specialized area. If somebody calls me wanting me to help them for a bankruptcy, the first thing I do is tell them to call Jamie or some other bankruptcy lawyer that handles this specifically, because if you get someone that doesn't know exactly what they're doing, things can get messed up in a hurry. So you need to see somebody who does this as their primary practice.
All right, back to the phones. Geneva in Mobile. Geneva, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Geneva.
My question is, if you get a foreclosure letter, which one of the bankruptcies could I file bankruptcy to save my house?
Absolutely, Geneva, and that's really the only way to stop the foreclosure. If you've gotten the foreclosure letter, what happens is they'll publish that foreclosure notice for 3 weeks, and then that 4th week is when they actually go to the courthouse steps and announce that foreclosure market and announce it. So if you do have that foreclosure letter, and usually it has a date on there, it gives you that date when the foreclosure date's going to happen. You're in a hurry. You really need to call a bankruptcy attorney and get in there pretty quick.
Because once they go to the courthouse steps and
it's
they
gone.
do that,
that's right.
You're done.
Yeah. You have no ramifications to go back.
But up until maybe the day before.
Actually, we'll file them the night before. A lot of foreclosures are at 11 o'clock on a certain day, and we'll usually if we can swing the bat before that foreclosure happens, but if we can beat it by that minute. Right. When that attorney's down there on the steps and is barking that foreclosure, if we can get it filed before then, that magic umbrella of bankruptcy that stays in effect, and your house is protected, and you can keep your home.
Good.
I didn't know they really did that.
Sure.
They bark out on the stem, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the phone lines. Renee's in Pritchard. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey, Renee.
Yes, Renee, I'm here.
Hey.
Go ahead with your
Hi.
question.
My question is that I went to the bankruptcy lawyer, and he did tell me I had enough debt to file bankruptcy, but he said that he advised me, due to the fact that my name was on my mother's house, that he advised me not to do the actual bankruptcy.
And that happens a lot. You know, a lot of times, you know, if your parents put you on their checking account in your house, I mean, that's your assets. I mean, you know, we have to watch that. So if that house, if there's equity in there, you know, like I said, in Alabama, you get $5,000 per person for your homestead. So if there's equity, and a lot of these, the older people will put their children's name on their house, and kind of locks your hands as far as being able to, you know, what we can do with it.
Well, what could she do? Okay, but you know, in all practical purposes,
she could take the mom could take her name off the house. You have to wait 2 years. Anything you do within 2 years of filing bankruptcy gets pulled back into your bankruptcy estate. So my suggestion is get your name off your mother's house and try to hold the creditors at bay. Then try to file bankruptcy in 2 years. If you
2
can
years would be tough to hold creditors.
Sometimes you just kind of have to do that, or kind of fib to them a little bit. But sometimes sometimes you can. You just but my advice is that you just do it as quickly as you can.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break. Back with more of your questions right after this.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico. See how much you could save.
Believe it or not, I still sometimes get calls from people who think that they can convince me or pay me enough to represent them in a drunk driving context. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you drink and you drive and you hurt someone, don't call me. I'm not going to represent you. I'm not going to help you. If anything, I'm going to be the lawyer going after you. My name is David J. Maloney. I represent accident victims, and I'll personally return your call.
Local 15 News has your news now. How so? We're all about breaking news and breaking weather. And it's more than just some catchphrase. It's in our DNA. From tax hikes to dangerous storms, from politics to courtroom drama, 3-alarm fires to tropical weather, Local 15 News has a local eye on the headlines. We're fast, accurate, and not afraid to dig deeper to get the whole story. This ain't your mama's news. This is the hard-hitting, fast-paced news you need when you need it. When's that? How about right now? 24/7. We're here for you. Local 15 News. Breaking news, breaking weather.
Families in crisis.
She's 18 years old. She has the judgment of a turtle.
Relationships in trouble.
With this one, you're going to have to watch the gold in your teeth.
In Judge Judy's court, they're not just cases, they're topics that affect your life.
See all the trouble you created by getting crazy?
The cases get you thinking.
You think this is going to be easy? This is not going to be easy.
The topics get you talking.
You better stop harassing each other. You have a child.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 4, followed by Local 15 News.
All right, if you have any additional questions for Jamie Loris, you could reach him here at the number 432-3100 or on the web at stopfinancialproblems.com. You have a question for Bill Island or his partner Alan Ritchie, they can be reached here in Mobile, 666-1212 or 866-666-1282 or erlawfirm.com. They're also on Facebook by searching Island and Ritchie. And, you know, I've got the personal injury attorney here. We are talking bankruptcy tonight on Local 15 Law Call. What happens if I'm in a car accident, I get a claim, but I'm also going through bankruptcy?
It changes everything. And when people come see us for any type of an injury claim, one of the first questions on the questionnaire that we ask them is, are you currently in bankruptcy? And the reason for that is that claim, or the fact that you have a personal injury claim, it's an asset. And so therefore it has to be reported to the bankruptcy court. And the big thing about this, and we have to explain this to people all the time, a lot of times people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth. If they're currently in bankruptcy and then they're, say injured in a car wreck, they come to see us, that money that we might get for them does not necessarily go to them. In fact, it does not automatically go to them. It has to go to the bankruptcy court first. And depending on how far they are into bankruptcy, they may not see a dime of that. Now, Jamie actually has helped me on many situations like this where we can go in front of the judge and petition that the judge allowed them to keep some of it, especially in dire circumstances where they're tragically injured or do not have any transportation. But whether the accident happens before you file bankruptcy or afterwards, like a lot of times people will come to see us, they're not in bankruptcy, but then all of a sudden they decide later they want to file bankruptcy. They have to let us know so we can then let the bankruptcy court know. And so it changes, it changes the whole complexion of a personal injury claim. So the bottom line is, if you're thinking about bankruptcy or if you're already in bankruptcy, do not forget to tell your personal injury lawyer, because and also if you tell your bankruptcy lawyer as well, because you can really get in trouble if you don't.
The thinking of the medical bills and whatnot, isn't that also one of the major reasons people wind up in bankruptcy? We talked about housing and whatnot, but again, medical bills can stack up on you so quick that you can never get out from it.
Well, a lot of times they lose that job too because of the injury, so that kind of ties them up a little bit. So you have to be, a lot of things pop up.
All right, we're running out of time, but let's go back to the phones. Kim's in Mobile. Kim, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Kim.
Yes. My question is, I just recently purchased a car, and I lost my job a month after I purchased it. Is there any way I can put that under bankruptcy,